All right, what's going on, everybody? This your boy, the Will Rogers, aka Master Teacher 33. Today we want to reveal, explain, illuminate, and simplify what is reality, how to establish reality, how to change reality, if that is something that we would like to pursue. So today we want to jump into and really break down and understand, if you will, or overstand the fact that reality is only what we assume, imagine, and affirm. And so when we talk about this topic, we're talking about it from the perspective of understanding what exactly freedom, faith, family, finances, fun, fitness, forever is. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is for you to establish a reality and then to learn how to change that reality that you are living in. Now, everybody lives in different mental places and mental states, if you will. But as we break down reality, and then as we break down, what do you want to change about your reality, and then how to go about choosing to change reality. So as you guys know, reality is that's just a word that identifies, where we live. It's a way for us to over and understand, our 3D existence. And so when we talk about this from a metaphysical, psychological, you could dare say spiritual perspective, what is the true meaning of this thing that we call reality? Because when we look at it, reality is where we live. It's what's going on. And when we look at the meaning behind this spiritual journey that we are on, it's about the inner self. It's about really tapping into and exploring, this thing that we call the self. It's about exploring this reality, this world that we live in. So everything is about encouraging you to establish you. Now, when I say you, then we've got to define that. So what we're talking about is your plane of existence. We're talking about the dimensions that you live in, the thing that collapses waves, into singularity. We all have this power, this ability to collapse waves into singularity. That just simply means that we literally bring about what we think about. And so when we talk about the quality of your state of being, what is considered true to you? Everybody's definition of truth is different. No matter who you talk to, one person's reality is different from another person's reality. So what we're really talking about is we're talking about the totality of your possessions. We're talking about the actual existence. We're talking about your core essence. And so from that perspective, we exist in this particular space, in this particular body, whether it is what some people will call imaginary or not, it is still literally a state by which we are able to determine, based upon our facts, what's real and what's not real. So, reality is interesting because everybody's definition of reality is different. And the most important thing is who determines the meaning of your reality. Is that something that you determine? Is that something that's determined for you by someone else? And so when we look at how reality is shaped, how it's formulated, how it's made, everybody's reality is totally different. We all see the world in different places, different spaces, different ideals. And so your freedom, your faith, your family, your finances, fun, fitness, all of this is a part of reality. Reality is what we assume. Reality is what we imagine, and reality is what we affirm. So when we talk about reality, we're talking about we assume it because there's evidence for us. So we gather this evidence, and based upon the evidence that we gather, we walk in that assumption. And so reality starts with the word, again, assumption. This ability for us to assume. Everybody's definition of assuming something is different. How you assume your reality is different from how I assume my reality. So when we assume reality, we are simply, again, establishing something. The next thing that we do after we assume is we then imagine. We use our imagination, our imaging, the ability to establish a mental picture, if you want to use that term, that allows us, again, to be able to oscillate and vibrate in a specific space, in a specific world, in a specific reality. Whether we want to do it or not, that allows us, and then we affirm that. Whatever it is, then all we do is we're just affirming, when we reverse engineer it, we just affirm what we imagine based upon what we assume. And that creates our reality. And regardless of where we live, what we believe, what we do, this process automatically happens every day, all day. And very few people stop and question it. And that's what I'm going to say kind of creates the predicament, because we go through life agreeing with. When we look at the word affirm, it's a very interesting word, because what we do is like the word affirmative. It's like affirmative action. Affirmative action was something that came about in the 60s. We got into establishing a certain, let's use the word, demographic for lack of a better term. So everybody has this ability to do this, but we don't really notice it. So when you take the 3 steps, you reverse it, the first thing that comes up is affirmations. And so everybody uses affirmations every day, all day. We just don't know that we're doing it. So an affirmation, again, it's just the way for us to categorize things. So we just affirm something that presents itself. So when we talk about reality, we just affirming our reality. People use affirmations as a way to rewire their thoughts and transform their life. But we don't really understand, we don't examine the affirmations when they come in, because they are below the detection, because they're unconscious. So the affirmations, they show up after we image it and assume it, and then it shows up. So the only way you can tell what your unconscious magnification or affirmation is when it shows up in your reality. And so when we look at how affirmations are used to fulfill our life, everybody, you are a self-affirmation. We call another word for a self-affirmation is just an algorithm. So we are all algorithms. We all are going to the most predominant, repetitive thought. So to change that, you got to be aware of it. Now, what I like to do is like I tell everybody that, you as an individual expression of God on earth, when you stand in front of a mirror and the mirror reflects back to you, that's an affirmation. So an affirmation, number one, your reality is what you affirm it is. All you do is you agree with what's showing up. So the first thing to change your reality, stop agreeing with what's showing up. That's what I do. So, and I remember there's a time delay though. And remember, very few people can understand, like in relationships. If you decide to work on a relationship, well, if you spent 3 years in a relationship doing something negative, you change and you expect everything to change in 2 weeks. Well, I hate to be the bearer of good news, but yeah, that's not how that cookie crumbles, homie. So it took you some time to get to that space that you're in, wherever you're at. It's going to take you some time to get out. So when you understand, the way that you change reality is to simply understand that reality is what you assume, imagine, and affirm. Now, a lot of people don't agree with that, because we believe that reality is based upon somebody else's mentality. In other words, there's the powers that be. They've established our reality for us, but we affirm it. Everybody is going around affirming, because we're not challenging. And so when we are affirming some other frequency, wave, or vibration, we don't really understand that we are affirming it with our faith. We are affirming it by not vehemently opposing it. We are affirming it by being absent-mindedness or being absent about it. Meaning that it's like what's going on in Ukraine right now. I have no idea. So I'm affirming it because I'm absent-minded. I haven't done no research. I haven't done why? Because it doesn't affect me. Now I'm just keeping it real. Now we could say, oh yeah, this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, that's how this world works. This world works that if whatever you don't vehemently disagree with, you are agreeing with it. So you are assimilating it. You are accepting it. But guess what? We think, not all of us, some of us think that when I say to disagree with something, you need to go talk to a person, place, or thing. So the mistake that we make is we believe that our problem is people, places, and things. We don't understand that our problem, it's not a problem, it's just a situation, is our thoughts. Because everything in this world is based upon image. So that's number two. So the image, we are affirming images because we're not challenging those images. What happens if you challenge that image? Then by challenging the image, what you're doing is you're calling out the image. You're saying, I want to replace that image with a new image. So you're taking your energy out of it by not affirming it, by taking your energy out. And the way that we take our energy out is by noticing what's happening in our reality, starting with your feelings. And so when we understand reality is what we assume it is. Reality is what we imagine it is. Reality is what we affirm. So when you reverse the process, now you're finally knocking on death's door, if you want to use that term, because from that point, you are able to bring about a totally different reality. Because now reality is what we affirm it is. So now I want to consciously affirm. Before, I just been unconsciously affirming it. Because I've got a hope, I got a wish, I got a dream, but I'm not vehemently obsessed. Remember we talked about it yesterday? Make sure you guys look at the book on obsession. Because again, obsession, without positive obsession, there's negative possession. So you are negatively possessed by negative shit. It's easy to tell because of the most predominant thought that's not detected. And it shows up in your life because somebody hurt, harmed, or defrauded you. And so there's a feeling. Now remember, it's real. That's how the universe works. The universe ain't going to send you some shitness that's not real. And so the fact everything that's happening to you is real, but you can either be real or you can be rich. One of the two. You get to choose. You get to affirm. See, we're affirming our beliefs because anytime somebody wrongs you, you know it's wrong. So you affirm it. I'm aware Jim Bob did me wrong. So since Jim Bob did you wrong, your awareness of the wrong brings more wrong. Again, you can be right or you can be rich. Totally up to you. You get to bring about what you think about. But remember, that's a time delay. And so the biggest problem that we have is that from a mental freedom perspective, when I'm talking about mental freedom, I'm talking about spiritual freedom. So spiritual freedom, spiritual faith, spiritual family, spiritual finances, spiritual fun, spiritual fitness is spiritually forever when you are able to choose that disposition. You got a choice in the matter. Because guess what? Reality is only what you assume. Now, hold up, wait a minute. That's not true. Reality is what it is, Doc. I ain't got shit to do with it. Well, I hate to be the bearer of good news. You see, brothers and sisters, why do you want to change what's going on in your life right now? See, in relationships, people want to change the relationship because they're not satisfied with the relationship. Now, the reason that they're not satisfied with what's going on inside of the relationship is because they're buying what's happening in the relationship instead of establishing who they are being in the relationship. Two different things. Same thing in life. See, the reason that reality is going south. Now remember, nothing happens until we get into a state. Because remember, we are in a cyclical environment. when you have a lot of money and you're in good health and you got a couple of degrees on the wall and you're in a great relationship, what happens? You start consciously creating because there's no reason for you to exercise focus, discipline, and order. So you start unknowingly ordering lack because you're no longer obsessed. So obsession is like, I like listening to and talk to the greats. So the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans from the sports world, the Dan Peñas from business world, those guys, they don't take their foot off the gas. So, and it's crazy because they no matter how much money they got, it's never enough. Now, the dark side of that is those people come across as being very driven. So we don't like those people because they don't know how to relax and have fun and, do all the stuff that we like to do. Why? Because they got something called obsession. They got focus. They got discipline. They got order. 24/7, 365. Never take a day off. They're always on the grind. So those people come across to us as anal retentive. Why? Because they are so super firm. They are fair and they are consistent. And so those people, when you come across them, you can tell because those people are wired different. That's why they live different. So success for the super, super, super successful, they have the ability to keep their foot on the gas whether they are on top of the mountain or on the bottom of the mountain. So that's the next stage of the game for me so that way I can get out of the up and down cycle of having money, then not having no money. Then being your dream goal weight and then being overweight. Or, dropping major knowledge to not dropping knowledge. To getting your toes curled to not getting your toes curled. So we live in a world that's based upon sine waves, up and down, or sin, or nana, or the moon. But we need to get out of yin and yang and get into singularity, if we choose. Or we just continue to ride the wave. So you can continue to just go wave, particle, wave, particle, wave, particle, wave, particle. And you can continue to do that for the rest of your life. Nothing wrong with that. That's again, free will. That's a choice. So what I'm telling you today is, what if you decide that, I want to exercise the power of vibrational matching that we talked about before, and I'm going to operate and get out of sin energy, and I'm going to conceptualize so that way I can realize. I'm going to establish a totally new way of seeing the world. You got that power. You can do that today. You ain't got to wait for the reverend, the doctor, the bishop. You ain't got to call T.D. Jakes. You ain't got to call me. You can decide today that you're going to continue to live in a high vibrational state, 24/7, 365. That simply means you're going to be like Dan Peña and, Tom Brady and, Michael Jordan. You're going to be like all those guys. Now, those guys have problems in other areas. They don't have problems in financial areas because they have their foot on the gas in the finances. But they may not have their foot on the gas in the health area. Or they may not have their foot on the gas in the wisdom area. Or they may not have their foot on the gas in the relationship area. You get to choose. You get to conceptualize. But everything starts, my brothers and sisters, with if you're not satisfied with your reality, that means that you are living in a 3D state. What that means in English, Doc? Like, for real. That just simply means that I'm aware that there's something in my life. I'm at a place in my life that I would like to change. That's all it means. That's all it means. Like in a relationship, awareness. But the problem is awareness. Because you should be only aware of your desire fulfilled state. You should be living there 24/7, 365. None of us do. So the point is, so every time we notice that we're noticing something that's not inside of our desire fulfilled state, that we turn our back on what we notice. And we only focus on the desire fulfilled state. If it's a relationship and somebody's treating you bad and you're only returning good. The Bible says that what that does, that's like reaping coals of fire up on their head. What's that going to do? That's going to make them more angry. Why? Because they're trying to get you to feed their need. They have a need. Most people don't know when a demon shows up. Most people can't tell when the demon manifests itself. It's interesting that when a demon manifests itself, especially with men, it's always the threat of violence. When a man threatens another man, especially if the man is like me, if he's a 6, so I can't threaten anybody. I cannot get angry. I don't have that disposition. Something has to come over me. I must be possessed. See, right now, I'm positively obsessed. So unless I become negatively possessed, I cannot hurt, harm, or defraud anybody. It's not in my being. I do not have that being state. I don't even possess it. It's not in my numbers. I do not have the capacity to hurt, harm, or defraud. The only way to hurt, harm, or defraud someone is if I become negatively possessed. That requires a trigger. I need an enemy. I need my frenemies. I need negative energy. Somebody got to gaslight me. Somebody got to pump my head up. Or I got to go to a space or a place where I can develop and be around more negative habit patterns that can fuel my tank. Like I can develop that God complex. Then I can override my natural energy imprint. There are 3 prints on this planet based upon your blood. You are either the earth, like me, you have an earthly imprint. You have a cosmic, or some people call it intergalactic print. Those are usually like the, AB bloods and stuff. Or you have an angelic, divine, heavenly. Those are the O bloods. So you can, depending on your blood type, that's your imprint. Remember that series that we did on blood type, God type? So I can tell you're here, you learn your lessons from earthly trials and tribulations if your blood type is like me, A, or usually B. But if your blood type is AB, positive or negative, then you're an intergalactical being, so to speak. Your soul is. You're here, and your lessons come from not only the earth, but also from cosmology, sun and moon. So you are affected by Mercury retrograde. That's why I don't get into Mercury retrograde and a lot of cosmic shit, because my blood type, God type. Life of the flesh is in the blood. But if you're the Affirm, if you're the originals, then that's angelic blood. That means that your blood, your events, your lessons, fucking cosmic. You are getting downloads from God. You're going through shit because you came here voluntarily to either help, depending on what type of old blood you got, because most old blood are from the synagogue of Satan. They're here to fuck up shit. Look at all the warriors, man. Look at all the blue bloods. They're all old bloods. They're the originals, but they're not the original orphans. They're part of the original, but they're the original ones who fell in consciousness. So your soul is on the journey. Your lessons come from the life of the flesh, because you know that those 5 senses, that except all of my lessons comes from a lot of earthly shit. That's why I've done so much stuff. I've lived at least 600 years, minimum. I have accumulated so many life experiences from going through earthly events. That's why you guys get tired of hearing me talking about all of my earthly experiences, because of my blood type, God type. So my reality is affected by earthly stuff. If you got AB blood, your reality is affected by cosmic stuff. Like what just happened. What? We just had a what? Solar eclipse. Depending on your blood type, that shit was traumatic for you. Wasn't traumatic for me. But then they got people they're from heaven. They are original. They're from the originals. So their blood are affected by originals or the archons. But there's a bunch of them. There's good ones and bad ones. That's all the stuff that we're breaking down in the private class. We're breaking down all of the angelic host. So you understand now Samael, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Belphegor. Now you know that Leviathan is a sea serpent inside the body. It's called Kundalini Kundabuffer. So now you understand that, okay, you can only create from a space of what? Void, without form and darkness. Well, hold up. Every Negro I know is fucking afraid of the dark. He's afraid of the void. He's afraid of form, being formless. What is that? Remember, we looked it up. It means you should be in a place of utter confusion. You should be fucking lost. You cannot create from a place of knowing. Nobody who knows stuff is looking for stuff. I know no Christian who's looking for it. They already got the solution. They got Jesus Christ as Lord. They ain't looking for it. You know a Negro with a degree looking to get a degree? I know zero. Do you know anybody that got a full belly, just come from a all-you-can-eat place, leave and go to another all-you-can-eat place? All-you-can-eat. His belly is full, round. Where's he going? He's full. Nobody's looking for food when they're full. So there's zero belief that I've met Negroes that understand the power of fucking creation. You can't create shit unless you're in the fucking dark. Lost, confused, homeless, destitute. Holler at your boy. Oh yeah, you on the ground now. So Negroes do not understand when I purposely order confusion. This shit is not by accident. Going to a new level, man. I gotta destroy the current level though. But there's no, do you know anybody that understands what I just said? Do you understand it? Nah. Why not? Nobody volunteers to go into adversity. Nobody volunteers to go into the dark. Very few. We like to be sitting on top of the mountaintop, sipping pina coladas at the beach. Ain't nobody trying to lose all their money. Ain't nobody trying to get no disease so they can cure it. Ain't nobody trying to go into an area that they don't know shit about because they got to learn something new. Ain't nobody trying to destroy their current relationship so they can repair it and go to and take the relationship to a new level. But that's the only way to do it. That's just the way the world works. According to the Helios Biblios, I remember taking all this shit out of the Bible. So obsession is the only way to operate in creation. Because when you latch onto that bone, and it's either death or destiny, y'all seen the videos? Car falls on a loved one, like a car falls on a baby. The woman would go over there and lift that car up like it's nothing. How come? Desperation. Man, desperation is a powerful thing. Y'all better stop playing with my emotions. This is not a new believer show. People ain't desperate enough. I have no problem putting myself in a desperate situation. I do it all the time. I understand how the world works. When you get there, then you holler at your boy. Nobody signs up for this program. So therefore, it's impossible for the average to keep it on to change his reality because of a lack of understanding universal spiritual law. I ain't create the system. I'm just telling you how it works. Your whole world, your whole narrative has been predestined, predetermined. That's what the word means. Only a self-replicating and a self-aware algorithm can change its own program. That's you, boo. You are AI. So the new AI is just a new version of humanity. Your biology is nothing but, look at the word bios, course of living ology based upon words. You used to be a computer. You're just a highly advanced one now. So the new AI is just a new version of, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. They'll be walking around and there'll be a new technology come out and everybody's going to be against it. Why? Because it will have more computing power. That's the only difference between you and AI. AI is just a faster version of you. Faster meaning whoever has the ability to computate knowledge, data, is God. King. Everybody else works for him. Why is man in charge of the planet? How come lions don't run the shit? What about gorillas? They bigger. The world is not like in the planet of the apes. How come the apes ain't taken over yet? Apes don't have enough computing power. They're not more intelligent. So therefore, man is in charge. But man is getting ready to be dethroned unless he can figure some systems out and remove the telomeres off his DNA. How do you do that? Same way Jesus told us. You got to activate all 12 chromosomes. Nigga, you're only using 2. That's why you got melanin. Melanin is the highest computing device, but nobody can use it. You're not going to tell no Alkebulan how to use his melanin. You think the dominant culture is slow, but they ain't slow. They think they became dominant. They became dominant because they control your cognitive abilities. You're a cognitive God and a cognitive goddess. But we cannot fathom that connectivity, that connectivity. So what do? Do you know what a melanocyte is? Have you seen it? I've seen it, man. It's a fucking crown. They don't teach this at Harvard, Yale, Preston Brown, or your historically black college. No, man. They're not going to tell you whose or who you are. Because then you would violate, you'd be just like me. Send me into the lion's den. I'd be just like Daniel. I'll go down there and run that mother. Throw me in prison like Joseph. Remember they threw Joseph in prison. What did he do? He was running the prison. What about Moses? His back was up against the Red Sea. What did he do? The Bible says he walked across on dry land. He didn't get no mud on his shoes, man. Throw me in the fiery furnace like the 3 Hebrew boys. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What happened to them? They said they came out, they weren't even smelling like smoke. Man, you don't know who you are, man. Stop playing. You walk around talking about you scared of this, scared. I mean, not you personally, but, people we all know. The average Alkebulan is scared of their own selves because they don't understand that they got the crown. The crown is melanin. But there's a nigga on the planet that I've met that understand what melanin is. It's just like electricity. We know what electricity does, but we don't know what electricity is. If you do, you cannot have what you call a problem. Because, problems are nothing but opportunities for you to show your ass. That's all it is. Obstacles is nothing but an opportunity for you to display your divinity. But it's a mindset. It's a mental disposition. That's where it starts. I am not your enemy. You're not mine. We got one issue. The issue is our self-concept. We don't see ourselves as gods and goddesses. Oh, we can say the word, but we don't got the concept. Because the first thing happens when the problem shows up is, oh shit, what am I going to do? Instead of, I'm going to whoop you too. It's just a matter of time, man. It's just a time delay. I know this is temporary. Where I'm at today is temporary, bruh. Now, it may be permanent for you, but it ain't permanent for me. I've been here before. This ain't my first rodeo. I've never seen the righteous forsaken or a seed begging bread. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. God give me the power to trample on snakes and scorpions and all power of the enemy. And nothing shall by no means harm me. Because greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Man, you better know who you are, man. You need to affirm some facts, man. You ain't got no facts, not you personally, so you cannot affirm. So when obstacles show up in my life, guess what happened? I become obsessed with facts. So do you honestly think I'm going to buy what the dominant culture is selling? Do I look slow? No, man, I ain't buying that narrative, bro. So they determine the narrative. Everything that you believe, you do not have access to the truth. You only got access to King Jimmy. Do you think that's by accident? So, I don't know what Bible you got or what Quran you got. But in the Bible and the Quran, it says that we have been given authority. So I got authority, bro. I know I got authority. I call those things that are not as though they were. So, y'all buy what? Like, mate starts acting up in a relationship. And he say, oh, you know what, it's not working. Hey, you decide if it's working or not. You got the power that you choose to give it away. If he say, well, you know what, the relationship is not working, I want a divorce. Or she says, it's not working, I want a divorce. And you're like, okay, what the I don't think so. It ain't happening unless outside is happening. You go to one bank and they say, I'm sorry, we can't help you. Like, you ain't the only bank in town, bro. You should be saying something. I'm saying, man, I don't even need a bank. I'm my own bank. You know, when the rotate, remember, everything is a step, brother and sister. You use it, and then source code takes it. Source code is so slowly moving you to the place where you 100% dependent upon your higher self. Him. But it's a process. So when I started off, everything was like, yeah, I needed my parents. Then my biological father went around, my mom transitioned. So I was like, oh, snap. I had to figure out, so bam. I was there with my friends. I moved in with them. They had parents. Then I got in high school. I had to depend upon United States Marine Corps. Then after that, I became a police officer. Eventually, I got to a point where I was no longer dependent upon a job. That was about 30 years ago. I've been self-employed ever since. But I've experienced different types of self-employment. That's way back in the 80s, I was selling real estate. And then the market bottomed out. Switched over to insurance. Then the market bottomed out. And I dropped down in income, and everybody said, oh, man, that's it. Doc is toast. Bury that Negro, put a fork in him. He's done. No, bruh, I'm like a fucking chameleon. I'm like a cat. I always land on my feet. Do you honestly think I ain't been here before? This ain't my first rodeo. And it shouldn't be yours. I don't care what the devil throw. Man, they throw dirt on you, shake it off, and step on top of it until you climb your way up out the fucking hole. I have authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. No weapon formed against me can prosper. Line them up, I'm going to knock them down. You just don't got the right, not you personally. The average of the people does not have the right self-concept. You're depending upon somebody else other than yourself. We're all programmed. The only question is, who programmed you? Or did you program yourself? Your beliefs you got, did you get those? Are those yours or those your mama's? Or those your daddy's beliefs? Who gave you that belief system? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. Intelligence rules the world, bro. Who's the most intelligent? It's intelligence. It comes in. See, we're asking the wrong questions. So we're barking up on the wrong question. See, reality is what you ordered 30 days or 60 days ago. What you're experiencing today, you ordered 30 days ago. For some of us, 60 days ago. For the slow, low goals, 90 days ago. It just showed up. So you believe in God for wealth. And you on day what? 20. And you have a negative thought. You're like, oh man, I should have kept my job. I know this shit ain't gonna work. Bam. Once you get out of line, you gotta go back to the beginning of the line. Man, this shit is crazy. I've seen people working on relationships like I did 25 times in my first marriage, 4 times in this one. And they get right there. They're putting in all this work. It's been 3 months. Make file for divorce. Tell you get your shit, get the fuck out. And you're like, no, honey, I love you, blah, blah, blah. You putting in that energy, you putting in the work. You making an emotional deposit or a financial deposit or a health deposit. You went to the doctor says that you got the big C and it's running all through your body and you eating right, you working out, you're getting you some sun, you're drinking some good alkaline water and you are reducing that and you just about to pick the big C's out of your body. You have a low vibrational day. Say, fuck it. Go to Krispy Kreme, knock out that donut, and the big C cannot exist in the body unless you feed it with some sugar. And all that work you did for 6 months or whatever is all gone with one donut. So you got to go all the way back to the beginning and put in another 60 days when you was 1 day away from your goal. I've seen it happen all the time. It's happened in my life and other people's life. Now, nah, bruh, bury me. It's destiny or death. Fuck it, I don't got no options. I'm a one-trick pony, that's it. One trick. It's either destiny or death. So I don't latch on to nobody else's reality. Once you decide to affirm, now you get the answers to, okay, how does intelligence work? How does AI work? Where does AI come from? Where does intelligence come from? First, go give you the answer. Now you ignore what you see. So if things are not going the way that you want them to go, turn your back on those things and focus only on where you want them to go. So every morning I wake up, I only focus on the solution. You should be saying, well, Doc, what if I don't know what the solution is? That's even better. Because now you're focusing on source of the solution. Come on, man, y'all better stop playing with my emotions. What is the source of all solutions, man? If you don't have the solution, you got the source. The source of the universe. The source of it. Some people call it source. I call it source. You can call it God, Buddha, Allah. I don't give a beat. As long as you are able to identify with source. Do we live in a world where information is controlled? And if so, what's controlling the information? We just can't go to the Vatican and read all the books there. How come it's just not public? How come they don't invite us to the melanin conference that they do every other year? How come in the history of the melanin conference there's never been a Negro at the melanin conference? Why are they talking about melanin? Why are they making computer chips with melanin? Why are they using melanin on a space shuttle? To go out in space, it has to have melanin. Why are they studying melanin? How come you ain't studying melanin? Who is controlling the information and why? More importantly, we got another conundrum. Your morals, your values, your perception is being influenced and manipulated by the dominant culture's narrative. And you don't even know. Not you personally, but you all know. You honestly believe that you got access to all the information that's on the planet. Let's just use the word, instead of all, let's use the word accurate. You also believe that you right now are basing your decisions on accurate information. Are you serious? So why do you think we're doing an advanced class? So we already know, just starting off of that, just what we studied, and we just started. So you already know that very few people operate from a place of formlessness. Nobody operates from the place of the void. Nobody operates from the place of the darkness, because that's all considered evil by all religions. So if you're living in a place of, I don't know what to do. I don't know nobody tell you to go to a place of confusion. I don't know nobody telling you to live in a place of lack and want and desperation. Everybody telling me that, no, you should be sufficient, you should be taken care of, you're supposed to be rich, you're supposed to be wealthy, healthy, wise, and getting your toes curled. So where did that information come from? Is the narrative, or was the narrative, aka story, that you believe, was it created and written by you? More importantly, your whole self-concept. Who gave it to you? So you told me that I'm a short black man from Forsyth, Texas. Is that who I really am? All my life, people have been telling me who I am. It's only recently that I started telling myself who I am. See, you still listening to what you've been told. Nigga, you ain't on the plantation no more. You's free now, boy. You's free. But Master, he's still chirping in your ear. Even though you free, you still Master's. You still on the plantation, because the plantation is planted in your head. So your head determines whether or not you get bread. And the average at keep it on, he got Willie Lynch in his head. He ain't got source telling him what to do. Even though he off the plantation, that plantation narrative is still controlling his neurons in his brain. The Negro's consciousness is hijacked by the massa. Now I know. The fact that you don't agree with me let me know that you hijacked. Not you personally though, but people we all know. Because the first thing that the average keep an eye should do is exactly what I'm telling you. What do you think I got here? Reality is what you tell yourself it is. Reality is what you assume. Reality is what you imagine. Reality is what you affirm. And when we reverse it, what are we affirming? We are affirming, meaning we are agreeing with what's presented to us by our 3D world. So if your mate comes up to you right now and presents something to you that says, I don't love you no more, you're going to say, oh, honey, why? Man, me and Triple Chocolate, we laugh. She tells me all the time, try to go somewhere if you want to. They be looking for your body in the fucking backyard somewhere. So I tell her the same thing. Nut up if you want to. Like, for real? No, we're not right. We're not doing that. See, y'all listen, y'all get bad advice, man. Y'all listen, I don't know, what? You listen to your 5 senses. You got 7 other senses. How about you listen to the 7 spiritual senses? The 5 physical senses. You go to the bank and the bank tells you ain't no money in there. We got 7 other senses says that there is. That money's not in no bank. That money's in my 3, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 9. That's my money. My conscience has been hijacked, just like yours. So I gotta go get it back. I gotta get out of the passenger seat. I get back into the driver's seat. So you must become a conscious driver instead of a conscious passenger. The advanced class we breaking down, got a whole book on it, how to become a conscious driver. Right now you're in the passenger seat of your own car. Damn. So that means it's like somebody else is driving you around. Then that means they go where the fuck they want to go. So your 5 senses is driving you around. That's called your body. So your body is driving around your soul. And your soul has your spirit. And your spirit is connected to source. So your 5 senses is controlling your soul, your spirit, and your source. So sorry. Because your 5 senses have no allegiance to source. Your 5 senses is a container created by Lucine Farr. And he's going to take you far. That's why it's called Luciference. Luciference. Lucifer's interference in source codes mandates. That's why the average keep it on can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. He ain't driving the car. So who's driving your car, bruh? Who's driving the car, sis? Is it you? Nah. So you gotta drive your own car. Okay, Doc, that sounds good. How do I drive my own car? When you over and understand, my brothers and my sisters, I have to put myself in source. See, the Bible says it this way. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live. But we got to stop there. Because it says, I, third eye, have been crucified, amplified with Christ. That's the kundalini and the kundabuffer. That means at the base of my tailbone is a sacrum or sacrum pump. It pumps up CSF, cerebral spinal cord fluid, or colostrum, depending on who you talk to, up 33 bones to the place of the skull, called Golgotha, where Christ was crucified. Crucified means amplified. Oh, so you didn't do that? Oh shit! How do we do that? That's called fascination. Easy hood terms. Y'all know I'm from the country. So see, if I was at Harvard, I'll be going to a bunch of talking about a bunch of biological shit that I have inside of my book, Genie and the Genes, or my book, the biological, the body is the Bible, and the Bible is the body, the biological temple. But since most of us, that's regular old country folk, I just talks plainly. You rewire. It's called epigenetics. Anybody heard of Dr. Bruce Lipton? What about Joe Dispenza? What about Royal Raymond Rife? What about Jethro Kloss? What about John Ernst Keeley? What about Nikola Tesla? What about Walter Russell? They all said the same mother thing. The Bible says it this way: as a man thinketh in his heart, so he rewires his brain. So what are you saying, Doc? Anybody want to activate all 12 strands of their DNA? That means you just simply don't play. You got to become obsessed. In order for you to be the best, you must become obsessed. Positive obsession overrides negative possession. To get back in the driver's seat of your car, drive your own vehicle. You're letting TD Jakes drive it, couple of dollars, you're letting Sheerans. Who controlling you right now? Is it your supervisor? Is it your flesh? Is it your boo-boo or is it your flesh? Is it children or is it your flesh? See, the Bible says that we're not supposed to walk in the flesh. And the reason it tells us that is because of what? It's truth. And the saddest thing is when it comes to changing reality, you can only change reality with mentality. You cannot change reality with the flesh. The Bible says if you walk in the flesh, you cannot fulfill the lust of the spirit. And then if you walk in the spirit, you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Remember, it reads both ways. So every time I read the scripture, I read it both ways. So I know that the Bible says, let this mind be in you. That was also in Christ Jesus. But that simply means that if you can put that mind, you can also put another mind. So remember, they teach it one way, but you implement it another way. So when I'm teaching it, reality is what we assume. Reality is what we imagine. Reality is what we affirm. Period. You are going to disagree because you got 5 senses. I'm going to affirm because I got 7 spiritual senses. 7. So my 7 completion, spiritual, is more powerful than the physical. Contrary to the Willie Lynch disposition that the average Keep-It-On possesses. You can tell a house snip because he thinks like the master. He lives in the physical realm. He does not have access, or he does not choose to access the spirit realm. That's a house snipper. He still thinks with the flesh because he's been trained by the best. Willie Lynch trained every American slave owner in this country. Therefore, Negroes don't have mental freedom, which nobody else can follow without mental freedom. You must free yourself mentally by affirming you are a melanated expression of God on this mother planet. You're here to rule, dominate, govern, lead, manage, control. That's your job, bruh. Why? Because you're the most intelligent mother on the planet. Now, if you choose to act like you stood on the plantation, okay, that's on you, bruh. So you can't talk to me about plantation shit. So when you talking five senses, my brain can't compete. I don't even recognize the five. I don't even recognize 3D world. I don't live there. Sure, I come down here, hang out for a little bit, then I go back home. I live in the spirit. I am in this world, but I ain't of this mother. This is why I have difficulty relating to the average. I'll keep it on. Negroes tell me talk about shit that's going on in the 3D realm. I'm like, really? Well, the way you change the 3D is with 9 chi. And the average of the Cuban does not speak nor understand the operations of 9 chi. Because in 9 chi, there is no how. In 9 chi, there's only one thing. That's just what and why. I know what I want, and I know why I want it. Okay, how you gonna get it? I don't give a fuck how it shows up. If I gotta hit a nigga in the head with a fucking baseball bat, so be it. Or if it just falls out of the sky, I don't give up. See, you concerned about the wrong thing, bro. Not you personally, but people you know. Now, again, I didn't create the system. I'm just telling you how to master it. And the way you master the system is you need to affirm. You need to be affirmed, like a law firm. You need to be your own firm. You can't hide your affirm. You must be affirmed. Most people are not firm. Therefore, they cannot be fair, and they cannot be consistent. They're not firm. So my reality is based upon my firm. Not Tom's, not Dick's, not Harry's, mine. Firm is code for firmament. Firmament is code for firm, mental firm. Think, well, if you're not mentally firm, you are yourself and everybody else around you. I do not hang out with unstable mother. Nigga, you must be fucking firm. Here's the why I don't roll with a lot of Negroes. Non-Negroes either. Because they're fucking flaky. Mentally. Not you personally, but, people we all know. Firm means firmament. The firmament. Did anybody read Genesis? Anybody been listening in the advanced class? You ain't taking the advanced class? God help you. Help you. I'm praying for you, bro. I don't pray for niggas. I'm a predator. So no, bro, I don't pray. Predators, we fucking eat prey. You know the difference, man. This is real deal Holyfield now. AI is over here, bro. Your replacements are here. So then you need to get off the plantation and man up and build your own, bro. Or they're going to come and take your plantation and put your ass back in slavery. Not physically, mentally. So the first thing, you must become the firmament. That means you understand the creative process. You see, brothers and sisters, think about one thing. When I'm talking about the firmament, I'm talking about the upper seat. I'm talking about the upper realm. I'm talking about the waters above. See, that's waters above and that's waters below. Y'all know y'all Bible, stop playing. Y'all ain't that far removed. See, he has fixed the earth. That's you, boo. Firm and immovable. So if I can get in your head, I can steal your bread. The reason the average of keeping on is broke because the Negroes really believe that bread is physical. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every mother word. Y'all better stop playing. So you reading and hanging out with the wrong Negroes. Not you personally, but people you know. People talk to me about shit that's going on in the 3D world. Are you serious, man? You really buying what they selling? Your flesh is talking to you and you believe in it. You're supposed to be talking to your flesh. From now on, nobody should be receiving shit from your body from the perspective of no one should be telling you. You should be telling yourself. What does that mean? That means all your life you've been told. The master tell you what time to get up. He tell you what time to go to bed. He tell you what time to eat. He tell you master now is the flesh. Your five senses is telling you, and you're like, yeah, that's true. Whatever's going on in the 5D world, 3D world, we buying. You go to the doctor and the doctor tell you got, 30 days, you believe him. You go to the bank and the bank tells you broke, you believe him. I mean, not you personally, but people you know. You go to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, Brown, they say, oh man, you're not qualified to come here, bruh. And you're like, oh man, I must be a little lost dummy. And you believe him. Not you personally, but people we know. You go to a relationship and your boo-boo telling you it's over, or your boo-boo telling you this, that, and the other, and you believe him. Not knowing that you write the script. You see, brothers and sisters, we've been buying the wrong narrative. We've been a part of the wrong firm. So in order for you to change your reality, you need to affirm with your mentality your image. See, I don't know about you. I'm made in the image and the likeness. Stop playing with my emotions. I come from a different cloth, bruh. So no, I'm not no house field either. I'm from the stars, bruh. I'm a star seed. I'm made up of stardust, homie. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sprinkled in and held together by carbon, aka melanin. I'm a god in the dirt soup. So no, I ain't your average. So you don't see me doing average. What image do you got in your head, bruh? You see yourself as broke? Oh, so sorry. Oh, you see yourself as sick? Ah, may God have mercy on your soul, bruh. Oh, you see yourself as ignorant? You really believe you a little lost dummy? Oh, you see yourself as single or married or whatever your relationship is? You really buying that? Oh, you got con, bro. Because guess who wrote that narrative? I ain't write it. You do not want to ask me what I see. Nah. Because you be like, damn, doctor fucking lost it, man. And nigga lost his mind. What image? The word image is the word I'm age. See, I want you to end and then back up and begin. Image means I am of age. So I am of the age of source. So I am a firmament. I am mentally firm that I am of age to assume that I am wealthy, healthy, wise, and I get my toes curled on the regular. So I'm not buying what the dominant culture is selling. But the dominant culture is telling me that, oh, the economy is this, and, this happened. I ain't buying that, bro. That's not my image. That's what I see. That's the picture I have in my head. I got a different image. I changed my reality. Every level of the game that I've gotten, I've went through what I'm going through right now. That's why I'm kicking back. I got my feet up. Let all the naysayers talk shit. Every time I say, yeah, man. You know how many niggas have counted me out before? Come on, man. I saw back to my football days. I was always the shortest dude out there. I was always the littlest one until kickoff time when the referee blows the whistle. And I would go down there and put the biggest dude on his ass. Man, I've been doing this shit since birth, bruh. Are you serious? Y'all new to this, and I'm true to this. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you wake up every morning, you need to be firm, fair, and consistent. That you are God's representative on earth. And I've never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. Never. I have authority. It's been given to me to trample on snakes and scorpions and all power of the enemy. Nothing shall by no means harm me. That means if there's a perception of harm, that's an illusion. God wishes above all things that I prosper and be in health, even as my soul prospers. So anything that's not, I do not accept any other script or no other picture or no other image in my skull that doesn't match my concept of self. And I think very highly of myself, Sister Emily, as you can tell. So no, I ain't no poor critter. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't pray for me. I don't need your pity. And like, oh, no. You never have to worry about me. I'm a predator. I wake up every morning and I eat well. I highly recommend you change your self-concept. Because whatever you got, it ain't God. If you don't see yourself as God on earth, you got the wrong self-image. My image is one that is all-knowing, all-power, all-present, all-simple, and all-loving. Because those are the same attributes and characteristics of source code. I am a code that expresses source. So are you. The only way to change your reality is to change your mentality to match God's mentality. That's it. Any other mentality is too low. You got the Logos. That means you got Jesus and Buddha and Allah. You got the L-O-W. Low. G-O-E-S. Go. Or goals. That's why you can't manifest. Not you personally, but who you know. Guess what? It's great to come on the show and going to an Amway pep rally, get all pumped up. But guess what happens? It's like going to church on Sunday. Yeah, you go to church on Sunday, you get all amped up, and the devil is waiting for your ass on Monday. Because guess what? The preacher ain't there on Monday. It's just you and the devil. If we're going back to our Christian days. You know what? On Monday, the devil will be whooping Christians' ass like there's no tomorrow. He beat your ass down. That's why you call it a weekend. Because you're weakened. Because you live for the weekend. So the devil got all week to make your ass weak. So he whooped that ass. He dragging you around like you a freaking red-headed stepchild that stole something from freaking McDonald's or Walmart. So you're weakened by the weak. So you're not W-E-E-K, you're W-E-A-K. You're weak. So everything that we makes us weak. Why? Thinking is thinking. Stop thinking about how and just stay focused on what. Now, what are you going to do? But focus on what? Focus on what you have. See, let me give you the solution, man. We're going to wrap this up. Every day I wake up, I remind myself, like, the shit that's happening in this 3D world can't be happening. So that means that this that's happening, it gets worse and worse and worse because the devil is getting desperate and desperate and desperate. So when shit's getting really, really bad, you should get really, really happy. If you're going through relationship problems and relationship is getting bad, it's going right, ooh, you should be partying like a fucking rock star. You be going out to eat, like celebrating. Because remember, how does the devil display itself? The devil being you being a low vibration being the Logos being what? That's been the negative habit pattern. Because remember, your blood type determines your God type. So as we said, remember, there's only 3 types. There's earthly, there's cosmic, and there's angelic. So your problems are coming based upon your blood. If you A or B blood, you're earth. If you AB blood, then you are cosmic. If you're O blood, then you are angelic. So that means if you got O blood, you have serious issues. Your shit is coming down from the throne. So you're dealing with heavenly shit. If you got AB blood, that's the blood supposed to be of Christ, then you got cosmic. You're a cosmological being. You're an intergalactical being. You're dealing with intergalactical shit. If you got A blood like me, okay, you're dealing with earthly shit. So your blood type determines the electrical magnetic frequency because the life of the flesh is in the blood. So your flesh is going to deal with problems on your level because that's your test. The money doesn't come until after the test. That's what's called a testimony. Testimony. No money until you pass the test. The test coming in the flesh because the flesh wars against the spirit. And the spirit wars against the flesh. These two are contrary to one another. So if you don't know what's going on, you walk around, you think that, oh, Jesus, God testing me, problems. And no. You know what's happening is you don't know who you are. So therefore, you don't know where your problems is coming from. So I don't have to worry about cosmic shit. I don't have to worry about heavenly shit. I've already passed those two tests. So now I got to deal with my flesh. I got to deal with worldly shit. If you notice, all of my problems comes from earthly shit. I have no cosmic, Mercury retrograde, nothing. Solar eclipse, nothing. I have no cosmic issues. I have no divine, no heavenly issues. I teach all that shit because I've already mastered it. So now I'm mastering earth. That's why I've done so much earthly cray shit. Because my blood type determines my energy or electrical magnetic energy imprint. So if you don't know the shit that I'll be talking about in advanced class, you fighting the wrong war. You don't even know who your enemy is. So how are you going to fight somebody you don't even know the enemy is invisible? Remember the aliens? They are phononic and photonic sound, what we call music, aka phonons and photons sound alike. That's the enemy. So you fight the enemy with sound and with light. That's the point of the class. So brothers and sisters, it's very important. Let me be crystal clear on the 3-step solution to change your reality. First of all, the problem that you see ain't a problem. It's only a problem because you believe it. Take all of your belief out of the problem. I'm begging you, and I'm begging. I don't beg very, very often, but for y'all high vibrations like keep it on, I'm gonna make an exception. See, it's not about changing anything. Man, I talk, especially in relationships, because in relationships, people really think, same thing with money. Many relationships are exactly the same. People honestly believe they got to do something when they got a money problem. So the first thing that people do when there's a money problem is they start doing a bunch of physical shit, not knowing this mental. It is not physical. Money is not physical. Money is energy. Because everybody knows, think, brothers and sisters, what is money? Money is a medium of exchange. So that means I have something I got to give in exchange. So let me ask you the $1 billion question. What the do you have? I already know. Now you know what you got too. Don't change nothing. Choose something. Stop doing. You ain't a human doing. You're a human being. You ain't even human. You're spirit. But you ain't even spirit. You're a source. You are a source being, experiencing, acting, and having a human experience. So your job is to change nothing. You got to choose who you be. That's an image. You must be in the image and likeness of your source. Now, everybody got a different source. I gave you the definition of my source. All knowing, all power, all present, all simple, all love. You get to define it. Remember, you create your reality with your mentality. I got mine. I highly recommend that you get yours. So everything starts with affirming an image. Once you affirm that image, then every day, all day, 24/7, 365, you assume all of the attributes and characteristics of that image. What does that mean? I ask myself every day, what do rich people do? Whatever the answer is, I go do it. Now, I've already defined what do rich people be? What do healthy people be? What do wise people be? What do people in a good relationship be? What is the mental disposition of somebody in a good relationship? What is the mental disposition of somebody that's very intellectual? What is the mental disposition of somebody who's very healthy? What is the mental disposition of somebody that has a lot of money? Do they walk around afraid? People who got a lot of money, how do they act? How do they carry themselves? Whatever the answer to that question is for you, that's what you should be doing right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after you call TDJ. You got to assume that you already are because you chose it. See, reality is what you choose it to be. Reality is what you say it is. And then what do you do? Hold it every day. Every day, you got to be consistent. Firm, fair, and consistent. The reason, my brothers and sisters, that we live is reality is what you tell yourself it is. It will become what you tell yourself it is. Remember, when I say tell, I mean believe. I know a lot of people who tell themselves stuff, but it's not true. But I know you're not one of those people. You're a high vibrational expression of God on earth. The Bible says give and it shall be given. So number one of the 3 steps to being a multi-cacillionaire or whatever it is that you want to be, remember, do not buy what you see. Do not buy it. Buy what you be. Do not buy what you see. Buy what you be. So the question is, who do you want to be? Choose. So I choose to be wealthy, healthy, wise, and get my toes curled. That's what I choose. So now, every day I choose the same being state. That being state leads to a feeling state. The feeling state leads to a having state. Now, I've been doing this since 13. It takes longer when you choose to be bigger. It's easy to choose, or it's easy to manifest if I choose to flip fries at McDonald's than it is to choose to sit at home in my drawers and make $1.4 million a year. If I choose to sit at home in my underwear and make $1 million a year, the choice requires something called a quantum leap. That simply means that my fate, my firmament, must be mentally firm, and my image must be of age in order for me to step into that SUME. The word assume has the word SUME in it. I will receive the sum total of the image that I affirm. Nothing more, nothing less. So are you. I must maintain the sum. Every day, all day, I am going to be tested to see if I really want to receive the sum total of the thing that I want to manifest. Everybody receives the quantity or the amount based up on the essential points collection of the pixels in the image that you have affirmed, affirment. If you are mentally firm, source is going to count the number of pixels in the image. That's why you should have no graven image. Image means pixels. Pixels means pictures. You can only receive the picture. That's why I love fucking pictures. Show me a picture, I'm going to manifest that mother. You can only assume the pixelization because the word pixel, L means God, pic means image. If you have affirmed, if you are mentally firm about the God of pictures, you will receive the sum. That's how I create my reality. Assume, imagine, affirm. That's how you teach it. But to implement it, you got to flip the script. Affirm the image, and you receive the sum. I love you. Ain't shit you can do about it. Just accept my love. Stop fighting it. Gotta stop fighting it. Just accept it. We will see you guys else tonight in the advanced class. God bless.